When most visitors arrive in Costa Rica, our Department of Immigration, or Migración, grants each visitor a 90-day tourist visa. Those wishing to stay longer are required by law to leave the country and re-enter, thereby receiving an additional 90-day extension on their visa. Those that do this for extended periods of time are referred to as perpetual tourists. While Costa Rica law does not expressly forbid or condone such activity, whether or not one is granted a 90-day visa or a 10-day visa is left up to the sole discretion of the Migración agent when re-entering the country. So with so many expats choosing to be perpetual tourists rather than becoming legal residents, staying legal requires one to make 90-day border runs. It doesn't matter where you go or for how long. All you need to do is exit Costa Rica's sovereign border and return. And to those of you who still believe you must be gone for a minimum of 3 days or 72 hours, forget it. That myth was busted numerous times. Today, Fran and I are taking new expat friends, Steve and Martha Friedman, across the border to the Nicaraguan town of Rivas. We consider ourselves fortunate because we live within a 90-minute drive of the Nicaraguan frontier. Once in Nicaragua, we will have some lunch, shop for some needed medications, stock up on some cheap booze at the duty-free store, and return home, all in the same day. I anticipate that this exercise should take no more than 12 hours, barring any major problems. But hey, this is Latin America. Shit happens.
Good morning. This is Fran Brown from Boomers Offshore. Beautiful morning here in Liberia. And today we're going to show you how you can take a trip to Nicaragua to do your passport runs, your border runs on the cheap. I'm here with my friends today, Steve and Martha Friedman, and we're going to start this adventure. We parked our car at a little hotel down the street, and now we're walking over to the bus stop where we'll take the local bus into Nicaragua, and then we're going to take a chicken bus. I sure hope there's some chicken here, don't you, Steve? That would be a lot of fun. And that will take us out to Rivas. So we're going to document everything along the way. I hope we guys don't get in too much trouble while we're out there, but if not, we're going to show you the good, the bad, the ugly, and a fun day in Rivas.
This is Steve Friedman. I'm here with my wife Martha and the Browns, and we're getting ready for our border run to Nicaragua. We've prepared in advance. We've brought small denomination American money, and we've also brought our passports, most important, and also we brought copies of our boarding passes or at least reservations for our airline tickets back to the United States so that we can re-enter Costa Rica from Nicaragua. I've also brought a small cooler if we bring back any medications that we've heard is much cheaper there. So we're hopefully all set and we're getting ready soon to board the bus.
Well, we made it to the right bus station. There are two in Liberia. This is not the Pullmanton bus station, it's the other one, but I don't know the name of what it is. But they're real close to one another, so you're not going to get lost. We're on the bus getting ready to take off, probably take off in about 10 minutes. Man, I'm hot. But maybe this has air conditioning, maybe it doesn't. But nice, comfortable seats. It only cost us 1,600 colones each, which is $3.20 to get to the border. That's all this bus is going to take us to the border. And I think there are a few stops along the way. So we're ready to get this puppy moving. Come on, boys, let's go.
Our bus left the Liberia terminal right on time. Since this was a local bus and not the Directo, we made several stops along the way to pick up and drop off passengers. I guess we could have taken the Directo, but for the privilege of not having to stop, we saved ourselves about $20 each. I knew we were getting close to the Nicaraguan frontier crossing because all of a sudden we were inundated with commercial trucks waiting in queue for their time to cross. For those of you who elected to drive to the border, do not, let me repeat this, do not get in line with these trucks. Instead, tread very, very carefully and go around the line. This is perfectly acceptable behavior, but be very careful. You will be driving on the wrong side of the road and may have to move to avert a head-on collision. The bus stops just beyond the Costa Rican Immigration Office. As soon as you exit the bus, be prepared for an onslaught of locals who want to sell you everything from currency exchange, blank immigration forms, to taxi services. Ignore them all. Simply walk inside the office, go to the head of the line and ask for the blank form. You will need one form per person, but here's a tip. Ask for 4 forms per person because you're going to need to produce the same form for entering Nicaragua as well as on your return trip to Costa Rica. I know, this is crazy, but do yourself a favor, don't ask why. It is what it is.
I think we're going to go and get these stamped right now. Get some paperwork, get these stamped, and then walk across the border. I think we're still in Costa Rica, but we'll find out. I don't know.
We're here at the border crossing station. We just got our passports looked at and the paperwork filled out. And now we're ready to cross over into Nicaragua.
We're traversing an area right now that's commonly known as the no man's land. This is the area that sits between the Costa Rican border and the Nicaraguan border. Once we've cleared the initial immigration area in Costa Rica, we now have to walk approximately 500 meters, 700 meters over to the Nicaraguan point. I'm just kind of glad it's not raining today, for if it was, this trip would be an absolute pain in the ass. Having made it across no man's land, we're approaching the actual Nicaraguan border. It's at this point that we walked the gauntlet through 4 different passport control stations. I'm not sure why we needed to do this because the stations were only 30 meters apart. Sometime over the next 20 years, this is going to be the new border crossing taking you from Costa Rica into Nicaragua. We have no idea when it's going to be finished, but what it does is it's going to avoid all the mud pits, potholes, and generally disgusting areas in which one has to travel to traverse the border. Now that we've cleared Checkpoint Carlos, our final obligation is to pay our money to enter Nicaragua. There are 2 fees here. One is a silly $1 fee for which nobody knows why it's paid. The second one is the big $12 fee, and it's paid directly to Nicaragua in order to enter the country. Make a note. When you leave Nicaragua to re-enter Costa Rica, you will still have to pay that silly $1 fee. However, the exit fee is only $2. It was now that Nicaraguan border police approached and ordered me to hand over my camera. But thankfully, after a couple of polite lo sientos accompanied by a nice smile, my camera was returned with the stipulation that it remained off until we exit the building. I graciously complied. Having successfully crossed the border into Nicaragua, our next stop was the town of Rivas, 36 kilometers north on the Pan American Highway. Instead of taking the nice, upscale, air-conditioned, $32 one-way gringo bus, we opted for a bit more adventure. We're going to take the chicken bus. We can take the $1 bus that makes multiple stops along the way, or take the $2 bus that's rumored to be non-stop. Ah, what the hell. Today was going to be a learning experience, so we opted for the $1 adventure. Chicken buses are repurposed U.S. school buses that provide very cheap and sometimes not so safe transportation to the local population. They get their name because many of the riders carry live animals with them as they move about on their daily routine.
We're now on the chicken bus to Riva. He's just about ready to go. We managed to clear through customs, so we're getting ready to leave here, signing off, and on our way to Riva.
Not 15 minutes out of the border, I noticed our bus was vibrating quite a bit. The driver immediately pulled over, got out, and inspected this poor excuse for a vehicle. As they got more tools, the banging from beneath the bus got stronger. I soon found out why. The bus's drive shaft was laying on the ground. This was not looking good.
¿Qué es problema?
No?
Hay una expression, el más grande la problema, las más grande la maleta. The bigger the problem, the bigger the hammer. And he just got out a very, very big hammer. And you can hear him pounding away. He also got out the duct tape, so we know we're in for a wait.
Wait, did the silicone come out?
Oh, and the silicone.
Uh-oh.
Bueno suerte.
Well, we're on the way to Rivas, and unexpectedly, our chicken bus broke down. Don't ask me how or why, but the chicken bus is DOA. We got guys underneath the bus, hanging and using duct tape and all kinds of shit to put this thing together again. And I'm having second thoughts about whether or not, if they even do get it running, whether or not we should get our butts back on it or not. The only thing that bothers me right now is I got hit the can, and it's there's no can in sight. Oh well. This is our adventure in Nicaragua. Having waited about an hour with the drive shaft of the bus still sitting on the damn roadside, we decided to go ahead and flag down the next bus to Rivas. And here it is, now we're on it, and we're bound for the little town of Rivas, Nicaragua, and it's starting to feel a whole lot better.
For the record, I want to say there were chickens on the other bus.
Well, here we are in downtown Rivas. I think we've gone from civilization back about 10,000 years. Rivas is a common destination for gringos looking for a quick escape from Costa Rica, especially those needing to satisfy their immigration requirements. Once in town, it's easy to get around. By foot, it's fun, cheap, and very efficient. Or you can opt for a taxi cab, but they're small and, they're really not in the greatest condition. For a true Rivas experience, you gotta try out one of the bicycle rickshaws. They're inexpensive and just plain fun.
Look at this. This poor little man has to ride a bicycle with us big fat asses in the little cart. Oh, yes.
Okay, just cruising on down the road at lightning speed.
Second drugstore that we have visited. The first one we kind of struck out on. We're trying to get something for George and a couple of things for me. But this one right across from the center of town, I think is a winner. We found one thing for me and one thing for George. So as soon as we're done with our drug run, then we're going to go get some lunch and then walk around a little bit and have an adventure going home. We're now eating ceviche pescado. It's awesome. It is awesome. It's only 75 cents for what we're eating right now. Yum-o.
Well, despite looking for a lobster restaurant with the name of Super Pollo, and just having the name with something pollo in it, where there's a city that's full of pollo restaurants, we actually managed to find this place. So here we are, we're sitting down with a couple Tonias each after a harrowing bicycle ride through the center of town and around the block. We've ordered and now we're waiting for our lobster dinner. The price of lobster dinner is about $8, so it should be very good.
Well, I ordered té frío, which is iced tea, and I will tell you, it's really tart, very tart, but also very good. So I think once we're eating our wonderful lobster lunch, we'll walk around a bit and then get on another bus that will take us back and break down again. That would be fun, wouldn't it, guys? Uh-oh. I think we're having a little mutiny here. I think they'd rather do a taxi back.
We're going to take the bicycle ride.
Oh, we're going to take the bikes back. That's what we're going to do. I'll have the bike man. No, we'll probably take a taxi. I think that one adventure was enough for them.
With our objectives now behind us, it was time to say adios to Rivas. But not wanting to press our luck with another chicken bus experience, we paid $20 and took a very cramped 30-minute taxi ride back to the border.
Ni te molestes en pensar en mi querer. Quiero que sepas cuando oigas estas cosas.
Hey, we just made a killing at the duty-free shop. Managed to go ahead and score on half-price scotch, half-price Grand Marnier for my buddy George. Got some new earbuds, and I'm ready to party on the bus on the way home. Oh, also picked up some 12-year-old Flor de Caña rum for $24. How do you beat something like that?
Okay, so today I think we did something very important, guys. You can come in here, Steve, that's okay. We did something very important. Lots of people say that you can't go into Nicaragua for the day and have lunch and then come back in. So what did we do today?
We came into Nicaragua and had lunch for the day.
And had lunch and went back in the same day.
See? Mythbusters! People say you can't do that. And we did it today, didn't we?
No hassles.
And
No.
was it pleasant?
For the most part, until the bus broke down.
You know what? Shit happens.
All part of the adventure.
It's all part of the adventure. Let's kind of recap what you just went through when you came into Costa Rica.
Well, we had to fill out a whole bunch of forms a number of times, and then leaving. When he asked for our passports, he actually did ask to see our tickets when we were leaving.
When we were leaving Costa Rica.
Yes. So
To get into Costa Rica, we had to have tickets showing we were coming back out of Costa Rica. But that was pretty easy.
Yep.
And he,
No bribes.
No bribes.
no bribes. And he signed our, even though we're leaving Costa Rica in less than 30 days, he gave us 90 days on our visa.
We're good to go.
Yep.
Let's get on our nice bus. I don't think this one will break down.
Nah.
No, this is a good looking
Let's
bus.
go to Liberia. We're tired.
It was a long day for all of us. We're tired, sweaty, and still have almost 2 hours of driving before we get home. We did, however, prove a few things. 1, you can do a border run in one day. 2, it can be hassle-free, and 3, it doesn't have to be expensive. Here's a breakdown on what we spent for the day. Our total individual costs were $38. Our shared expenses came out to a total of $32. And divided by 4 people, that was $8 a person. So our grand total for expenses for the day broke down to $46 per person. Of course, that doesn't include all the money we spent over the duty-free shop. I can't say for sure if your experience will be the same as ours. There are multiple ways of achieving the same goal. But the biggest advice I can offer is to make sure you have all your documentation with you, be polite, and wear a big-ass smile every time you interact with an official. This has been Andy and Fran Brown from Boomers Offshore wishing you buena suerte y un buen día. Adiós.
Show me the way to go.